Let's go. This is the end of the road. We got some unfinished business. Your time is ending. Right here, right now. I came to finish you.
6 months ago I started wrapping this car, all because Hannah decided to put a dent in this door by driving down the side of a petrol station. And now, after hours of YouTube videos, let alone hours of actual work, we've got to the stage where all that's left to do is the front bumper and the wing mirrors. In this video, my promise to you is that we finish it. In the last video we did the rear bumper and you'll have seen how much I struggled with that, so I'm not looking forward to doing this, and I at this stage have no idea how I'm going to go about it. All I know is there are going to be multiple sections of wrap on this. I am going to need to get all these grills out and the fog lights. Let's get it in the garage and let's start cleaning up the bumper. Before I put it in the garage, I haven't driven this car much at all really since I started wrapping it. Basically I've got the MOT on it in one of the previous videos, but apart from that it hasn't actually gone anywhere. So today I'm going on a little bit of a road trip somewhere pretty exciting. Liverpool have made the League Cup final and I'm going to Wembley. So why not take the nearly finished wrapped E90 and we can see how the wrap is going to hold up, particularly in these sorts of areas. Wembley, here we come. We've made it to Wembley. The car's now done 500 miles in this state and no bits of wrap have peeled off as we've been driving along, so that's good. Let's have a closer inspection down in the wheel arches. All looks very nice. I've realised that I did a really bad job of washing it the other day. Never mind. These bits that are going to be the first to go look okay. Let's go and see some football. Football! That wasn't supposed to happen, was it? Oh, you're getting ready for the celebration, Come on! We went for Newcastle, but we've got bigger fish to fry. Let's get back in the garage and have a go with that wrap. The bigger times in Newcastle winning this game, I reckon. We're back from Wembley and I'm so impressed with the car. Not only are all the panels that we've wrapped are still wrapped, but I cannot see anywhere any corners or anything peeling away. Just looking at corners like these and all down here, and in here's a bit complicated. It's all as it was really. I mean, some of the corners weren't the tidiest anyway, but looking all down here, around here, down here, almost looks like I've done a half decent job actually. Are you ready for this? Because I'm not sure I am. I'm going to start with an oil change because it was due last summer. I didn't do it. It's now nearly this summer. Hasn't done that many miles to be fair, so it's okay that it wasn't done, but I want to do it now. I did do a video on this before if you want to see this oil change in full detail. If not, we'll skip through that quickly and be back onto the wrapping. whilst the oil is draining away down there, let me just explain that I realised I don't need to take the whole under tray off to do the oil change, because there is a little flap in the middle of the under tray. But relevant to the wrap, which is what this video is really about, by taking the under tray off means I've got a little bit of access to the back of the bumper there, because I'm probably going to want to remove these bits of trim in the middle there and here, and the fog lights. As I got the car jacked up, it made sense to take the whole tray out. And here is the flap, which you can undo just to get to the sun plug there. So bit of an update on the car and the oil leaks, which, if you've seen previous videos on this car, were quite a big theme on the channel a while back. Unfortunately, we still clearly have some oil issues there. This is the back part of the tray, so the leak is clearly at the back of the engine because the top looks quite dry. Given that we fixed the oil leak previously by replacing the O-ring, I don't know how you describe it, as like a holder that goes in from the back of the engine from that way, that holds a spring that rests upon the camshaft to do with the variable valve timing system. So I don't think it's that, and I think it probably is the cam cover gasket. Goodness knows how many times we've had that cam cover gasket on and off on this channel, and given the way that I clean it up each time and seal it each time, it's unbelievable that it's leaking again. But I cannot think what else it could be. That is a job that's going to have to get done at some point, but as I say, now we are focusing on the wrapping, so let's crack on, finish the oil change, and then see to what extent we're going to need to strip the front bumper down to get into all those nooks and crannies with the wrap. Just stopping the time up here because I'm quite interested to look at this oil filter. You may or may not have seen me previously when investigating some of these oil leaks snap a bolt in the cam cover, and I had to drill it out. I was slightly concerned of swarf getting in the engine, so if there was swarf, then there should be bits of metal in the filter here. There is a lot of unpleasant stuff in here. It does feel a little bit, certainly gritty, if not metally. All I do know is it's a good job we're changing this filter and doing this service. Let's get back to it. Fresh oil and filter in the E90. Now let's crack on with starting to clean up the front bumper, and let's whip that number plate off. By no means are we done with the cleaning, but it's a start. So next I need to start taking these grills out. I have now, with the help of YouTube, found out how exactly I go about that, and you don't need to take the whole bumper off, but you're undoing all the bolts that you could easily just pull the bumper off, because you need to get behind the bumper here to get to the clips behind this lower bit of grille and the bolts for the fog light. So a bit like the rear bumper, there are bolts along the side there and one going up that way. We need to undo those and pull the bumper out to enable us to get behind into that grille area, and then from there we should be able to do the same with the middle one. I don't think I can get to that as it is at the moment. I was right though to take the under tray off, because we also need to undo these bolts to take this other bit of lower trim out as well. On the top we've got the kidney grills, so they need to come out, and we can get to those by undoing these bolts across the top and just pulling the bumper forward to get to any clips behind the kidney grills. And once you've done that, I think you've probably undone every single bolt in the front bumper, so you could easily just pull the whole thing off. And maybe once I get to that point, that's what I decide to do. I could always then take the bumper inside and wrap it there, but let's undo the bolts, start taking the grills out, and then I can make a decision. First we've got an 8mm at the top there, and then the next one down there. And then the secret screw is tucked under here, right at the end of the screwdriver there. As it happens, there's another secret screw in there a bit further down. Right in there.
I wouldn't like to be on TV.
And it's 1, 2, 3.
Cause offense is not meant to hurt. I wouldn't.
I can now get the bumper away from the car. Thing stopping me take it any further is now these bolts at the top. More and more I am thinking I might as well just take the whole bumper off. Next I'll do the same on this side as what I've just done. So the bolts under the arch there and the 2 secret ones in there, and those 3 for that lower bit of under tray as well.
I wouldn't want to sing one verse that's meant to cause offense, is not meant to hurt. I wouldn't.
And now the bumper is on the floor. So a few minutes ago I was talking about just cleaning it up and seeing if I could get to the grills from underneath without undoing anything. Then it developed into taking the bolts out from the wheel arches just to pull the bumper out to get into the grills from the side. And now the bumper is on the floor. You can see then the 3 bolts for the fog light. 1, 2, 3. Various clips for the grills, so that would be a case of pulling them outwards all the way along there, and same with the fog light on the other side. And for the kidney grills, same sort of clips. You can see just in there it needs to be pushed up, and then the grill should push out. With the bumper now completely stripped, I can get into all of these areas that I couldn't previously get to clean them up. To be fair, the grills do butt up against the edge here, so probably a good rapper might have just left those in, but I'm not a good rapper, and I can get into these bits here which are dirty. We'll continue with the clean up of the bumper now, and I am thinking I will probably take this inside to finish off, and we will see what Hannah's reaction is to that. Always good for a laugh. Okay, take that. To film Mummy's reaction.
Oh, Mummy, your clean house.
No.
He's bringing it upstairs.
Why?
I
You don't mind if I bring us in to wrap inside in the lounge for a little one?
Oh, that's so cool.
Sure do. Why is it in the house?
Won't be room in the garage for a car and a bumper, will there?
But what about Mother's Day?
Ah, Mother's Day, Schmother's Day. Oh, I'm such a tease. Well, welcome to the attic. Apologies for the mess. We've got all my Lego boxes here, but that's nothing compared to the mess that is behind the camera, so I will be trying not to show you that. Here is the front bumper. Let's wrap. Here's the plan then. I'm going to start by doing the bottom of the bumper and come over all of this in one piece, and then I'm going to cut along there and try and get all into there in one piece up to that corner there. So there'll be a cut along there which isn't going to look amazing when it's done because there will be a seam there, but this looks pretty tricky, this bumper, so I'm quite happy with that plan. And yeah, do all of this in one piece. Same here, cover around into there, cut along there, and one piece into there, into the corner.
I used to think that I like change, but then everything changed. I used to think I was doing great, but everyone thought I was deranged. And I tried to curb my instincts, but my instincts curb me like a horse without a rider, like a car without a driver, like a crash without a survivor. I used to think that I could change, but then
That's a good session. The bottom section is done. I think that is probably going to be the hardest section to do on the bumper, so pleased with how that has turned out. Let's have a closer look. So we did actually manage to do all of this bit right up to there, which I was pretty pleased with. It's a bit touch and go there as I lost a bit of edge there, but that's okay. When I do this bit, I can just go over the top of that. And all these bits we managed to get right in there, so happy with that. And same on the other side. Bit that didn't perhaps go so well, if you remember on the previous video doing the rear bumper, as I brought the wrap around the bumper, the wrap was going downwards, meaning I was facing a battle to get coverage at the top of the bumper. Put a quick clip in to remind you. But that edge is right on the corner there. The same thing has happened on this one. So as I was coming around here, the wrap was going upwards this time, so I wasn't getting coverage at the bottom. And you might be able to just see there is a seam in there, and also another section in that corner there, where rather than start again, I just put basically an inlay along the bottom because you're not going to see it. So all in all, pretty pleased. The next sections to do are going to be a piece that is going to cover this bit and this bit as an inlay, and obviously the same on the other side. And then this third from here down there will be a piece, this middle will be a piece, and this third will be a piece. So it's going to be a bit of a jigsaw, this front bumper with all these seams. It's going to be prone to failure perhaps, but there's no way that I can do this in one piece, so that is how it's going to be done. Due to some IT issues, I lost a few clips here, so we skip now to me doing the inlay for the recess where the fog light goes, and that all went fine. And then we move straight onto the middle section, which is almost done, and you can see me here just finishing off around one of the holes where the kidney grills go, and from here that middle section's looking pretty good.
And I used to think I needed.
Now I'm starting on this outer section, but I'll check in with you in a sec because I'm not going to continue with this in the attic.
I tried to use my own good sense, but I didn't understand. Like a cross without a teacher.
I think this would be so much easier in the garage because we talked about stretching before and stretching around this type of curve, and it's so important because if you don't get the stretch here, you get the bunching up here, and I can't pull the wrap to stretch it because I just leave the bumper on the desk. Let's get the bumper back on the car.
Dad, you put them all right?
There's one that was wrong.
Oh, is it the 47?
Yeah. Just put these top bolts in loosely to hold the bumper in place. I'm expecting to have to start again on this piece, but now I've secured the bumper, I'm just going to see if I can rescue it because there aren't any marks or anything. Getting close now. This half of the bumper is completely done, so I think now I'll just pull the bumper off again to get the fog light and the rest of the trims back in on both sides, and then I can start to bolt it in from this side, leaving it a bit loose on this side so I can get the wrap into these bits and right into that bit which would otherwise go under the headlight. So close. Starting to visualise what it's going to look like. Right, Poppy,
Yeah.
you ready to do some magic?
Yeah.
Okay, can you see what needs to be done?
No.
Stand back more. Look at the bumper, not the engine, the bumper. Look down. What needs doing?
That bit needs to be wrapped.
Okay, can you magic it so it's done, please?
Abracadabra, make the bumper wrapped. It worked! Yes, baby!
Whilst you're here, do you reckon you could magic the number plate as well?
Maybe. Of course I can.
Because you're really good at number plates.
Abracadabra. Alakazam. Make the number plate appear. Oh yeah, baby! Water bumper!
Thanks, Poppy, it's really helpful. I'll bolt the bumper on. Bumper done. Boom, 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 boom. I'm getting very excited now. You can tell because I still have not bolted the bumper back on, but what I have done, which you might be able to see, I've done a wing mirror, and I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I did that off camera just to see how it was going to work, and I will now do the other one on camera. Can you believe after 5 videos, 7 months worth of wrapping, that this is the last bit to do? I'm not going to know what to do myself after this. Okay, so just showing you on this mirror which I did, I decided to do this in 2 sections, similar to doing the bumper. I felt that a pro would do it in one section, but I'm not a pro, so I'll break it down. I did the bottom bit up to about here, so there is a seam just in there, going all the way along to the edge there. And as I know from doing the bumpers, the key is to really heat the wrap up and give it a really good stretch. So I will do this side now and show you. First things first, as always, we give the surface a real good clean. And then just putting some masking tape around the part of the mirror that will not be wrapped. So I use the knifeless tape for where my seam is going to go, just putting it on the kind of point in the contour of the mirror cap, as I felt that hides the seam the best. But again, not that I'm an expert, I'm sure there are many that wouldn't need to do this in 2 sections. Alright, then get your piece of wrap and heat it up. Right, now for the real stretch. I really want to try and do it without getting my fingers, certainly along this top bit. It's the bottom bit, you might be able to pull out those fingers along here. So now it's a case of just working at it. I think I could just stretch this a bit more. And then having got a good stretch around it, when you heat it up, the bottom just tightens in on itself, which is exactly what you want to happen. Now we have the bottom half of the wing mirror wrapped. Not looking too bad. If they fail, it's not the end of the world because there's not much prep involved in the wing mirror. But I have slightly failed here. You can see a bit of paint underneath the wrap, just in that bit. Again, I'm not too worried if that bothers me in the future. I can always have another go at it. Top half. Basically the same approach. I've got enough cut of wrap, heat it up and stretch it on, starting from this side over to this way. That's a stretch done. It's quite satisfying when you can stretch it over a small piece like that and you don't have to deal with that many wrinkles. Now, just a case of cutting it out. It's going too well, wasn't it? I've cut my seam in the wrong place and you can see the paint. So we start again on that top half. In fact, I won't let you watch that again. Let's skip to it being done. There was a bit of a mark there. It was where there was air bubble, and as I heated it up, the bubble burst slightly. It looks nothing more than a stone chip that inevitably I'm going to get a few of those in time anyway, so I'm not redoing the wing mirror for the 3rd time just for that. Right then. This is a bit of a moment, viewers, because there is nothing left to wrap on the car. Is this real? It doesn't feel real, having started this in September and it is now April. I do just need to bolt the bumper back on, so I'm going to do that next. That's it then. The E90 is done. Isn't she beautiful? I cannot believe we've got to this point. I cannot believe it took this long, but it has, and I am elated to have got to this moment. What a journey this car has been on, and what a journey we have been on. If you rewind 29 videos, I think it will be, all the way back to my second ever video where I did my first ever bit of wrapping, at the end of that video I listed 3 things that I'd learned from wrapping. The first one was how important cutting is, and definitely that is still the case. And the second one was about the quality of the wrap, and in that one I started with some cheap wrap which was no good. I moved on to the Hexis wrap, which is what I've used on this one, and definitely yes, happy with the Hexis wrap, although I don't have any experience of anything else. And the third one was, of course, I'm not a rapper, and that also remains the case. But what was interesting, that what I didn't learn from that first video was how important the stretching is, and I guess that was just because I did a little piece of trim on the Astra as opposed to these massive panels. So 100% we've got a 4th thing to add to that list of the stretching, the wrap, and the 5th thing is it takes such a long time. Now I know I'm going to get quicker if I did it again. I don't know if I'm going to do it again. If I do, certainly not going to be for a little while yet. But yes, if you are doing this for the first time, be prepared. It takes a long time, and that's evident from other YouTubers I've watched doing their first wrap, and one in particular I'm thinking of had the luxury of being able to just crack it out in one go, because that individual does YouTube full time. But I got the impression it still took a good couple of weeks solid. I probably could have got this done in 2 weeks solid full time. I'm not going to know what to do myself now, having finished this, but actually I do. I referenced it in the video before last. There were a couple of boxes in the garage. You might have seen the branding on the box to give you a bit of a clue as to what is in those. But if not, as you've got this far in the video, you are obviously a committed follower of the channel, and thank you so much for that. So you deserve to know what is in store for this car next. I did make reference to this way back before we started the wrapping, where I said I was not happy with this gap here, and also the fact you can not even see the wheels when you look down the sides of the car. So that is on the agenda to do on this car next, as we move to making this car cool, as has been my aim from the start. And another thing which I'm going to do, which I was thinking of doing anyway, but something unfortunate has happened, has just solidified my decision to go through with this, and that was, very irritatingly, I did not have the car quite in the garage enough, and I opened the garage door and it hit the boots there. As you can see, that little mark. So it's got to be a rear spoiler, isn't it? I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm going to do the spoiler first or the lowering first, because doing the lowering, there's a good chance that this takes the car off the road for another couple of weeks, and I really just want to drive it now because I think it looks amazing. So I'm going to go and take some well-earned chill out time now to recover before I go again on the E90. Thanks so much for watching and getting all the way to the end of this video. If you've watched all the other wrap videos, you are amazing, and I will see you next time.
Abracadabra, make the rubber wrapped. It's not doing anything, it didn't work. My job here is done.